you've been looking for a good way to grow your hair in 2023, or maybe not just 2023, then this video is for you. Before I go into the purpose of today's study, I would like to welcome both old and new faces. If you have not subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can see more videos like this when I release them. So the first one I'm going to give you is to always moisturize your hair. I think I've talked about moisturizing in some of my videos, but I've not really explained deeply on how to moisturize your hair. We have several ways to moisturize your hair. We have the LC, LCO, LO, and so on and so forth. But I'm going to be giving you two basic types. That's the LOC and the LCO types of moisturizing your hair. I told you in my other video that I use the LCO method because that's what works for me. And there has been a debate as to which type of moisturizing method works for each porosity. And people usually say that these two moisturizing methods are dependent on your porosity. But then when we look at the natural hair, your porosity is not the only thing. There are other different criteria that should determine the amount of moisture or the type of moisturizing method to use. And that is your hair density, the state of your hair, how tight you want your hairstyles to be, and so on and so forth. That's not what we are dealing on today. So the essence of moisturizing is you want your natural hair to be free from breakage and split ends so that it does not break too often. You want to preserve length even in your protective style. And so the two methods, the two basic types of moisturizing, LOC and the LCO, what I usually tell people to do is to divide your hair into sections like this, and then try the LOC at this part of your hair, try the LCO at this part of your hair, and see which one works for you. Either of the two will definitely work for you. How would you know if it works for you? The one that lasts longer, that holds moisture in your hair for a longer period, is the one you should be using for your natural hair, and that's its period. So as I said, moisture helps your hair to be free from breakage. When you talk about hair growth, you want to retain the length that has been there some years back. You want to retain the length that you've been gathering over the years. You don't want them to break, because if your hair is growing and it's breaking at the same time, it would not make sense. You would just see that your hair is on the same position. So ways to avoid that is to moisturize your hair as often as your hair needs it. Like now, it's really dry in Nigeria and my hair is getting drier faster, and so I will have to speed up my moisturizing routine so that my hair does not get too dry and start to have split ends and start to break. I hope you get the gist. If you are carrying your hairstyles for about 4 weeks or a month, ensure your deep condition. So most people always get scared of deep conditioning when their hair is in braids. I've done it a lot, so my hair is in protective style, and it helps me a lot because it helps to bring back moisture and all of that. So you want to do your deep conditioning also in your protective style, braids, twist. So far it's not with extensions, but if you could do it in extensions, fine. That's that. The other thing I would like to tell you is to always oil your scalp. Okay, people do their hairstyles. I mean, they just do their hairstyles and then they forget about the scalp. They just dwell on the hair alone. The scalp. The scalp is where your hair comes out from. I mean, that is where hair grows out from. And then you want to make sure that you are giving it hair food. I mean, scalp food, whatever. Yeah. So what I do is that I spray my hair with water first and then apply the oil. The reason why I'm spraying water first is so that my scalp can absorb the oil, and I massage on my scalp for as long as I can. Some people say 5 minutes. If you can do it more than 5 minutes, 5 minutes should just be your ideal time to massage your scalp. Oil your scalp and massage it, and make sure that you do it as often as it gets dry. You can use the weather to judge, or just place your hand on your scalp and then see if it's dry or not. That would help you to test whether you should be oil your scalp or not. The other thing is to style. Try to change their position once in a while. Like, I mean, my hair is in this position today, then next 2 days I might change the position, but I'm always making sure that I'm careful with my hair, because you don't want to over manipulate your hair. So if you're styling or positioning your hair, do not over manipulate it. Don't spend much time. Just style and then leave it there in a position for that day, or for, it depends on how often you like to change your braid hairstyle. Check YouTube for styles that you can do so that you can just quickly do it and then leave your hair like that. I mean, when the weather is dry, you can decide to tuck in your ends like this. But you want to position your hair in such a way that the ends are tucked in like this, so that they don't quickly get dry and then they don't start to have split ends on time. And then when you want to sleep, you can just wear your satin bonnet, position it in a way that you'll be able to sleep properly while wearing your satin bonnet, and ensure that it's still safe, so that even if your satin bonnet comes out, it still has something to rely on. The ends of your hair are still going to be safe. So when you want to style your hair, you have to like be very conscious of the ends of your hair, because they are the driest parts and they could easily break, and you know you that you want to retain length, so you want to be very careful with them. So ensure that you style and position your hair in a way that will favor your hair properly. Now if you're like me, there are exceptions. I do not like always putting my hair in buns, because sometimes I get headache. I make sure that I moisturize the ends of my hair properly, because if I'm going to be leaving it down and I'm going out in the sun, there's tendency that it gets dry faster, and you don't want your hair to break, right? So you want to like moisturize the ends of your hair very well. Then the moisturizing that you've done to your hair will help to protect it from the ash, whatever, from the sun. There's a bonus tip for you. Now, you want to make sure that your protective styles are left in for longer periods, like 4 weeks, a month, 6 weeks, and on like that, because this helps with length retention. So if after a week you're losing this hairstyle and then you create another one, and after another week you keep doing the same things over and over to your hair, and then your hair gets weaker and then starts to break, you don't want that. So the next time you're making a protective style like braids, twists, locks, and whatsoever, you want to make sure that you leave it in for longer periods so that you can retain length, and then you can see noticeable change in the length of your hair. That will be all for today's video. I made a video on how to make braids be your natural. You can check it out here. If you've not still subscribed and you watched up to now, kindly click the subscribe button and that notification bell beside it, so that next time I release videos you get notifications about it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.